Is it possible to be pro-life while at the same time being pro-capital punishment? What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Common Sense, Logic, and Reason. And as always, thank y'all for joining me today. Now, I've said many times on my video, if you've seen any of my videos for any length of time, you know that I've said plenty of times that I'm a Christian. And of course, I've also made it known, no secret whatsoever, that I'm conservative. Well, I'm also pro-life, which conservatives tend to be. I'm all about protecting the sanctity of life and protecting the innocent. And as far as abortion goes, I can't think of any group that's more least of these and more innocent than unborn babies. Now, the left, on the other hand, they're pro-choice. And the extreme leftists, they are all about killing babies and celebrating how great it is. And they defend it. They have these arguments that they use to try to defend, this idea of killing innocent life, killing unborn babies. The biggest argument that you get from them is the quote unquote, the feminazis is my right, my body, as it, but the baby, unborn baby has no rights. Does it? Well, yes, it does, because it's life. So if it's your right, your body, well, then it's also that baby's right in that baby's body, unborn baby. Then they try to counter that with, the whole clump of cells argument. You've heard this before, that, well, it's just a clump of cells. And as it's already been so brilliantly debunked, we are all a clump of cells. So if the clump of cell argument is what they're going to use to justify the shedding of innocent blood, well, Trayvon Martin was just a clump of cells, right? Tamir Rice, Michael Brown, Alton Sterling, Philando Castile, all were just clumps of cells. Those 3,000 so black people that you often hear the race hustlers and the apologetic whites complain about, that was lynched by the KKK or the white nationalists in that 80-year period. Well, they were also all just clumps of cells. Yet people are crying about them. So if it's justified to kill unborn babies because of the clump of cell argument, well, then those other killings that I just mentioned should also be justified. And that's what the police should be shouting from every mountaintop. Right. Then they come up with another argument that, well, it's part of my body. And technically, the baby is not part of their body. Once that egg leaves the ovaries, technically it is not part of the woman's body. And certainly not once that egg is fertilized by a sperm cell. It's a separate entity. Sure, it's attached to the woman's body, but just because you are attached to something or something is attached to something else doesn't mean that it is a part of it. And really, at no point in time, once that conception takes place, is that baby part of a woman's body. It's a separate entity. So that argument doesn't make any sense. Now, a common argument that you often hear the left use to try to justify abortion is they ask the question, that question of how can you be pro-life while also being for the death penalty? They compare abortion to capital punishment. So the question is, again, can you be pro-life while at the same time being pro-capital punishment? Well, the answer to that question is an obvious yes, you can. Because these are two entirely different issues. They're not the same. As far as capital punishment goes, how is a person sentenced to capital punishment or sentenced to death? By what means is a person charged and put on death row? There's only one way that you can be sentenced to death, and that is you knowingly and wrongfully take someone else's life. The only way that you can get a death penalty is by taking someone else's life. That's the only way, which means that in order to be sentenced to death, you had to do something. Okay? Well, what did an unborn baby do? Nothing. Well, besides being conceived, perhaps, or growing and kicking in his mother's stomach. But what did an unborn baby do to warrant the death penalty? I mean, has anyone seen any unborn babies throwing up gang signs and killing people in drive-bys? You know, has anyone ever known of a case of an unborn baby shooting up a school? Of course not. So trying to equate abortion with the death penalty or being pro-life for the death penalty is nonsense. It's a joke. You know, you have to literally not be thinking to try to make that comparison. But then, when has the left ever been accused of thinking? But anyway, if anyone is aware of an unborn baby, right, that killed somebody for whatever reason, you know, killed somebody in a drug deal gone bad, then by all means abort it. You'll get no argument from me. But until then, I stand for the sanctity of life and protecting the innocent, and the unborn babies are the innocent. And as always, y'all, until next time.